Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures, and today I absolutely have something obscure for you. We have both the Hornet and the Ettin, which come to us from Old School Miniatures in the UK. Now, these were originally part of a Kickstarter from way back when, and had its fair share of hurdles to get to market, but they did it, they made it, and I've had these guys sitting around for far too long because I just could not figure out what to do with them. And then Adeptus Titanicus rolled it back out, and then they sat here some more, but I finally said, you know what, it's time. Let's get these boys put together. Now, I will admit, the Ettin here has been partially put together. I did glue his heads on. The resin is super thick. It's super heavy, and it is definitely going to need a little bit more cleanup. I haven't really touched these guys since they arrived. I have painted some of the smaller robots that were part of that Kickstarter campaign. I'm going to bust them out as soon as these guys are done. But obviously, this is the Ettin with the two heads. I want to say those missiles might have been glued in. I don't remember for sure. And the Hornet is a scout mech. It's about the size of one of the smaller Titans from Titanicus. I can't remember the names of them. The Warhounds? But what's interesting is these guys are actually completely compatible in terms of modularity. Now, in the original Kickstarter, they did have a few options available for weapons. The nice thing is I still have all those. I believe if you order them off of Old School Mini's site, you do have to choose. But you can see what's also interesting is the area where the torso and legs are going to go are also compatible in size, as well as the weapon hardpoints. And yes, they are going to require some cleanup, as I said, but that's okay. It adds to the old school charm. So the Hornet has a pair of digigrade legs. Nice detailing, though. I do enjoy I don't want to say simplicity, I don't know, lack of detail. It's a certain style to it. I'm grasping for words, but anyways, there is a good amount of detailing there, and they do look nice. And then the Ettin has a rather robust pair of big, chunky legs. What a word to describe these guys. Chunky. They're big. I mean, especially the Ettin. I want to say the Ettin probably is close in size to the newer Emperor, Imperator, Titans, or whatever they're called. And why not show you guys some of the weapons that they have available. So they have their pincer claws, rocket launchers, giant flamers, laser guns, I'm assuming, rotary cannons, auto cannons, I guess I have two of those. I can double it up. And a plasma gun, I'm assuming, as well. I don't think Hobgoblin Hobbies, I don't know, maybe they still exist. I do know that they had some issues with the original casting. The casters went out of business. It was around the time of the Confrontation Kickstarter, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. I probably am, but that's okay. So it is nice to see, like I said, they are actually modular in terms of how they go together. You could attempt to use them like this. I wouldn't recommend it. I'm thinking our crab friend is going to be in bright red colors, even though he is listed as a Hornet, and I don't want to paint yellow and black. And the Ettin, just because of the body style, I've got to paint him up like Doublest M2 from Mazinga. It just has to be done. So he's going to have some greens, purples, and metallics in there. And then I got to figure out what I'm going to do with all the guns. I originally thought these two smokestack looking shapes were supposed to be weapon ports. I think they actually are smokestacks, or exhaust ports of some sort. There's some on the back of the Hornet as well, but I guess hypothetically you could go ahead and stick those guns on there, and I may just do that anyways, especially if I wanted to actually use it as a Titan, because I think that would be kind of fun. But in the meantime, I'm going to get these guys put together finally after all this time, and we'll show you how they turn out. Alright, we got our big boy mechas all put together here, and oh my goodness, feel the funky charm with this Ettin. I love it. He's just so big and round with these piddly little size guns. I mean, they're not like really that tiny, but compared to the rest of the body, the expressions on those faces, just everything about this thing is very much a High Lord Tamberlane Obscurity in miniature. It's just the right kinds of wrong and the wrong kinds of right for me. I really dig it. But I think that was really the charm, and I'm sure the intention of the designers. Our Hornet here, if I can actually get it to stand upright. This is just a 60 millimeter raise here. Here you go, good buddy. Yeah, they're big. Let's grab a Space Marine just to prove a point here. They're really big. If you wanted to use them as dreadnoughts or something, I mean, totally, you could go that route. They're obviously going to be the size for it. If you wanted to, let's say, go epic or something, or 15 millimeter, that's a 15 millimeter guy. I think he's a Blue Moon model. Maybe it was from Rebel. I don't remember. But you can see there the size. I mean, if you wanted to throw something like this in Horizon Wars or something, I absolutely think you can use these for probably just about any kind of sci-fi skirmish game. Grabbing a couple of the finished smaller models I have. I don't know if I've ever shown these guys off before. They are a little rough, both paint-wise and casting-wise, but they're just bizarre, unique sculpts. And again, really, they are so scale agnostic. You could probably get away with using them at just about any level. I mean, you could say they're piloted, you could say they're, you know, garrisoned by a whole bunch of guys. If you're going to go really small, it's just really whatever you wish to use them. Here, I even have a... I don't have an actual GW Dreadnought, but I do have an Archon Empire of Man bad guy one. It's about the size of a Wraith Knight, so that should give you a good indication of just how big these things are. And this was a cool model too, and I keep wondering if we're ever going to see these show up for their Starside stuff, but it doesn't seem like it. It's kind of come and gone. So anyway, very interesting and unique robots. Obviously, the style is not for everybody, and I totally understand that. If you see these and you just cringe in fear from the garish paint jobs that they absolutely most assuredly deserve and will have, I promise you that, then you know, it's cool. Maybe you just aren't the right match for things of such beauty. But if you dig your old school funk, and if you think that 40K topped with Rogue Trader back in the late 80s, then I think you probably would get a kick out of these models as well. I'm still tempted to stick that missile launcher rocket salvo pod thing on top of this. I don't care. It's my model. I'm going to do whatever the heck I want with it. But I think that it wouldn't really look cool with it. I love this thing. And yeah, I think it's going to have those doublest M2 greens, purples, and silvers to really give it a truly post-apocalyptic, grimdark, old-school charm. We'll put a link down below for Old School Miniatures if you are brave enough and a bad enough dude to try to paint one of these things, and I wholeheartedly encourage you to. With that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye.